Don't Starve Together has been out for quite a long time now, and I've been playing it pretty much every step of the way. Even back before there was no Together and we had to enjoy the game in startling silence. Gosh, it feels so eerie playing it again now. But I wanted to focus on some of the more notable changes from Don't Starve Solo to Don't Starve Together. I touched on this in my previous tips and tricks video, but this time around I'm going to focus on things that would change between solo and multiplayer exclusively. Sure, more people have probably played DST than solo DS at this point in time, but who knows, maybe you'll learn something new from how us fossils used to enjoy our game. Let's hop in. Meat effigies were completely changed in DST. In solo, you crafted them with meat, and they would automatically resurrect you upon your untimely demise, as long as a touchstone isn't closer. As well as this, they would lower your max HP by 30 for each that you had constructive and currently active. Yeah, this could kill you for a very elaborate waste of resources. However, in DST they were completely changed. Now they required 40 HP to craft, not max HP, just regular HP, instead of cooked meat, and will not lower your max HP when they exist, but they will not function in this state. Oh no, you have to attune to them first, which will do automatically, or you can use them to do that. You'll have this little icon in your HUD that shows you when you're attuned to a meat effigy. Now, when the next time you die, you'll be presented with this option to revive at your attuned meat effigy. This will impose the standard max HP death penalty, of course. But keep in mind, much like many things in DST, it will not work across caves and the surface. If you're going to be in the caves, make sure you have a meat effigy down there too, if you don't want to risk dying. These changes make meat effigies a free thing to have in your base, much easier to craft too. Literally no downside to making these now, so go ahead and craft a couple with the spare beard hair that you probably don't have lying around. What else are you going to use it? Oh. Sleeping has had a massive overhaul in DST. In single player, sleeping would skip time forward to the next morning. However, since that would complicate things in a multiplayer scene, unless you want something like Minecraft, sleeping is now completely different. Now when you use any item to sleep, be it a bedroll, tent or a lean-to, you'll enter a sleeping state which will slowly heal your sanity and health, as well as drain your hunger over time. It'll also balance out your insulation and wetness depending on what you sleep in too. While sleeping, you are completely immune to dying in darkness, but not anything else that may or may not find its way to you when you're sleeping. To facilitate the changes to sleeping, both tents and lean-tos got a durability buff, letting you use them 5 times more each. Don't underestimate sleeping in this game. It's a fantastic way to recover from a rough day, and especially so if you're playing as Walter with his reduced hunger drain from sleeping and super powerful tents, or even as Wormwood with his stunted HP regen from consumables. You most likely already know that thermal stones have durability in DST, but did you know that they only use a durability state when they change a temperature state? Particularly if they go from the hottest or coldest temperature back to the neutral grey temperature, meaning you can keep a thermal stone alive for a lot longer if you keep its temperature fluctuation in check. You can even repair them using a sewing kit somehow, which fully restores their durability with each use. As well as this, a fully baked thermal stone in DST will give off enough light to ward off Charlie and save you from dying in darkness. Don't rely on this too much though, but it's a great backup however. You can also place these puppies on the ground to warm up an area too, which is great if your friend starts overheating or freezing. Hammers don't need science. In the original game, you needed a science machine to make a hammer, as well as some rope to craft one. But in DST they can be crafted fresh out of the portal. So make one of these early on and smash up any pig heads, pig houses and skeletons that you may find. Early game pigskin is incredibly useful for football helmets, handbats and umbrellas. Right, it's time to talk about a topic I'm really passionate about, and that's turf. Turf has significantly less burn time in DST compared to Don't Starve Solo, where in that game a single piece of turf would give as much fuel as a log would, so reusing the excess turf you had from terraforming as fuel was a great idea back then. However, not so much anymore. But it's not like you would be doing much terraforming in Don't Starve Solo anyway, since in that game you would only get 1 turf per craft. Just 1. 1 set of wooden flooring per board, 1 set of carpet per beefalo wall, 1. I don't care if DST got that turf power creep, thank you so much for changing this, Clay. I don't even care that I can't use them as fuel efficiently anymore. Hound Attacks. You know them, you love them, and you hate them. In Don't Starve Together, Hound Attacks are actually more common in the early days when compared to single player. This, however, changes on its head completely after around 100 days have passed, where they can take up to 16 days per wave to arrive. This is the opposite of single player, where Hound Attacks become more common the longer you survive, as often as every 3 days. Despite Hound Attacks being easier in the later game in DST, that's not entirely the case. Past day 25, when 5 hounds would spawn, they have a chance to combine into a Varglet instead. Much like the regular Vargs you find when hunting Koalefants, these guys will summon more hounds to attack you as long as they're alive. We all know Bundling Wrap, the useful little doohickey that lets you wrap up items such as perishables to keep them fresh forever. Wax Paper was initially added to DST first, and then later backported to Don't Starve single player, as well as a few other items. However, in DST you need to kill the Bee Queen in order to get the blueprint for Wax Paper and Bundling Wraps, and there is no Bee Queen in solo Don't Starve. Well, because of that, you rarely get the blueprint from killing bees instead. So Bundling Wraps are significantly easier to get in solo Don't Starve than in DST. Instead of having to kill God to be able to craft them, you'll just now naturally come across a couple of blueprints for the stuff whenever you take out a few killer bees. Keep that in mind if you ever return to solo Don't Starve. Although, due to how there is no Bee Queen in solo Don't Starve, honeycombs are a finite resource in every world. The compass does not need papyrus or a science machine to craft anymore, so you can make these things right away, if you want, for some reason. Light flowers in solo Don't Starve are always on when unpicked. However, in DST you probably notice that they turn on and off sometimes. The way this works is that light flowers in DST are typically dormant, not emitting any light, but when they detect other sources of light nearby, they will become active for around 100 seconds. This is what causes those cool chain reactions you see sometimes in the caves. After their active phase, they become dormant again for the next 2 minutes, give or take. I always thought these guys had their light state dictated by the overworld light level. I can see why I thought that though, since the light wells that match the surface light levels are able to cause any nearby light flowers to light up in turn. Whilst we're down in the caves, they are completely different in DST. In solo DS, there are multiple smaller caves all around the map which each have a plugged sinkhole inside that lets you go deeper into their own respective ruins. Compare this to DST, where all sinkholes on the surface lead to a different place in the same, larger caves. And the ruins are just a biome found down there, instead of being an extra layer deep. I touch on this in my solo DS playthrough, go check that out. I've really got to continue that soon, don't I? Our spelunking doesn't stop here, however. In DST, you're able to regenerate the structures within the ruins by defeating the Ancient Fuel Weaver. But as you know, much like the Bee Queen, the Ancient Fuel Weaver isn't in solo DS. So instead, you're able to regenerate the ruins by defeating the much easier Ancient Guardian. And take the Seed of Ruin that spawns inside his loot chest. Chuck this on the entrance to the caves above and it will completely remake the caves and the connected ruins below. Our last bit of cave changes are that Chester cannot follow you into the caves in DST, unlike in solo DS where he'll loyally follow you down there and beyond. To make up for this though, you're able to find a way more useful Hutch. They function nearly identically to Chester, but instead of having dark or snow transformations, can transform into a Fugu variant with a spear that does retaliation damage, or a music box variation with a one-man band that offers soothing music and sanity regen. As well as both of these forms, you can place light bulbs inside them to make their lure emit a small light radius. And finally for this video, our last change we'll be touching upon between solo DS and DST is that some seasons last 1 day less in DST. I have no idea why. Summer and winter in solo DS last for 16 days, compared to the 15 they do in Don't Starve Together. Keep this in mind when calculating seasons arriving, since it's enough to completely throw muscle memory from DST off balance. And that's a few of the changes I've observed between DST and solo DS. There's obviously so many more, like character overhauls, farming, ocean content, as well as new content overall. I mainly wanted to make the video for the few people that have played solo DS and want to get into DST, or maybe those looking to do the opposite. I highly recommend it, the game's great. If you have any other small changes I've missed, or big ones that you want me to focus on, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, I love you all like always, and take care everybody, bye bye.